Hello and welcome to Jake Goes Dark. With me, Greg. You, Jake. Say hello, Jake.
Hello, Jake.
And Ben.
Hello.
It's basically a podcast where we ask Jake his general theories and ideas when it comes to various subjects in the world, and he tells them us and we cry. So, Jake, what have you been thinking about this week?
How dark and bleak the entire world is, and how we are just 4 or 5 days away from President Donald Trump.
Well, it's not going to be Donald Trump, though, is it? It's going to be Jill Stein. It's pretty much
Most
guaranteed.
Americans haven't heard of Jill Stein, let alone most English people. Ben is sat here clueless right now. I can tell by the look on his face.
What is Jill Stein?
Jill Stein to me is some kind of female pint pot.
What? A pint pot?
A Stein, a drinking glass.
Ah, I've learned something today. That's pretty
We
cool.
got a German drinking metallic tankard, I suppose.
Metallic tankard would work, yeah. Or if you're in America, tankard.
I'm liking it. This is starting a lot lighter than I expected. This is nice. So, before we start this, we're talking about population control.
Yes. I do firmly believe that everyone who is listening to this, which better be in the millions, I've been assured that millions of people are going to listen to this. Whoever is listening to this, do not have children. You're just making the Mother Earth a worse place, because everyone on this planet essentially is an idiot. And if you have children, you're just breeding idiots. So don't have children. Keep this population small. We're at 8 billion now. 8 billion. That is 8 billion too many.
Some people should not be given a voice.
A public message there by Jake Rose.
Absolutely beautiful. So, how would you actually control the population apart from simply asking people not to breed, which I suspect might not.
It might not work because people love sex, which is understandable.
Exactly, yeah.
But I mean, what I do personally is
So if you were president of the world and you had complete,
which I am not,
and you had complete control.
Yes.
So there's no Congress, there's no Supreme Court.
I'm a dictator of the world.
You are the dictator of the world, but somehow you were voted in. So you're a democratic dictator.
People are smart than I thought. I might actually be quite kind to them, because if people voted me in as dictator, that shows a level of intelligence that I don't think that most people have.
Wait, let me get this right. What you're saying there is, if the entire world was to vote you in,
they are smarter than I thought.
As a dictator, you would assume that these people are smart, not dumb. Okay, so anyway, you're in charge.
I'm in charge.
Let's
just assume that everything is like it is now.
And I'm a reporter, and I say, President Dictator Jake, what are you going to do about, now that you're in charge, about population control? Considering that you can't just ask people to stop having sex.
I wouldn't ask them. I'd tell them. I'm the dictator.
But you would need to. How would you enforce this?
By brute force.
I think we need more of a technical.
Well, I mean, if I was going to go for this,
details, lines, and ideas.
The slow term way, the long term way, I would poison the water, poison the food. Like long term, you've got cancers, you've got all sorts of genetic diseases you could go through that way.
Also, you're talking about slowly making the world infertile.
Not just infertile, but killing them off.
Oh, generally dead.
Just generally. And infertile, I would also use that option.
So would you say...
I would also use the nuclear option if we had that opportunity.
Oh, neutron star. Sorry. I literally just proved myself then. Anyway, no, we're not talking about the game that's on screen. So, long-term plans, there's none of your policies add to the furtherment of the human race.
No, because I don't believe the human race deserves a furtherment. If that is indeed a word, which I don't believe it is.
So I think that nicely wraps up the what if Jake was president of the world portion of the podcast.
I've just realised you're turning to be the Cole Pilkington of this podcast, aren't you?
I am very much. I'm not happy about that.
But the much more violent and aggressive.
So let's So basically, if you were president of the world, end of human race over a short amount of time as possible.
Most of you would have to die.
Lovely. Ben, would you like to ask Jake any questions
No.
that he can go
No,
dark
I wouldn't.
on? Is he scaring
I wouldn't.
you? Are you scared of
I
Jake?
feel quite uncomfortable in this room. This room's quite small. And I'm sat next to...
You'd be first to go.
I'm guessing that. I'm sat at the moment next to future President Jake, dictator of the world, who's already told us he would poison the waters and poison the foods.
It's the Edgar principle. That is the first thing you do. Not the Edgar. Who was it in Final Fantasy VI? Kefka.
Kefka,
Have we really got back onto Final Fantasy?
We've got back onto Final
This
Fantasy.
is what we were talking about in the first
This is
take.
where I feel
We
comfortable.
decided to move away from computer games.
Ben's not been involved in the conversation. I want to get him involved more.
Very well, very well.
I like games.
So,
Particularly Final Fantasy. So what have you been playing recently, Ben?
Well, to take the subject away from Jake going dark, I've been playing a cute game.
let's see if Jake can destroy the world of Final Fantasy.
Well, I've played a demo.
game.
It's one of the most boring and sickly games I've
So
ever seen.
before we carry on with Jake, Ben, would you like to explain give us a general synopsis of what that game is and possibly the correct titles? I'm not sure I gave you the correct title then.
Well, the word is synopsis, not synapsis. And just saying.
Oh, that's childish.
If we do it properly. And the game is about two people going back into the world of Final Fantasy when they've lost their memories. They need to go in there, collect things called mirages, which are effectively Pokemon, in regard to that. And then
And Jake
go
has fallen
through
asleep.
the different worlds and
this is
rediscover their memories of the world.
This is nonsense. Why do people waste their time on video games?
What?
Is that a hypothetical?
It's everything. It is everything. People spend so much of their time on absolute, I can't swear on this kind of bullplop.
I mean, I think the subject matter. This is the strange thing about YouTube. The subject matter, is pretty adult, but we will be fine as long as we don't talk about certain subjects, which we currently haven't. We'll be
Just
fine,
about
and we
killing
can monetize
most of the
this.
population.
That's absolutely fine. But if we say the S word,
See, that's another thing that's wrong with the human
it's
race.
likely to get demonetized.
I mean, this is some of the most thought-provoking podcasting that I'm sure has ever been done, and yet we can't swear on it. I have basically
Excuse me.
said that we should poison the majority of the population. That's fine, but I cannot say the S word. Ridiculous. Who's made that rule?
That's a genuine question as well.
That is a genuine question. Who has made that rule that swear... I mean, that's an American thing, that you cannot swear because saying a certain word will corrupt the mind of the youths.
It is a
The
strange
poor little
one.
children.
And
And,
the-
yet in American TV, the amount of sex scenes you see, like Jessica Jones, a Marvel show, so I thought, oh, it's for kids, it's superheroes. Show that to my 4-year-old nephew, and there's an interracial porn scene.
You didn't actually
within
get
about 10
far.
minutes.
You didn't actually get far enough in that series to watch a man put another man down a the American drain things that shoot stuff up.
Sewer.
The garbage disposal.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that gets really grim as Jessica Jones, like really grim.
I mean, I'm fine with a show being grim, but I just wasn't expecting that out of
The
it.
thing is, not just physically grim, also psychologically grim as well.
Does Netflix have like an age warning on these shows?
It does, yes.
It does.
It does.
I obviously ignored it. That's my bad.
And if you have a Netflix account, you have the ability to age limit certain parts of it and
It's fair just
control what your children see.
Jessica Jones thinks 18 as well, or 15, one of the two.
It must be an 18 because that's seen that.
Oh,
by
it's definitely.
shoulders.
It has to be an 18.
I mean, he was giving it to her. He was giving it Riz.
Was that
He was
Luke?
going for it.
Luke Cage.
But I mean that there was
Is that who
no
that
Big
is?
black guy.
Yeah.
Luke Cage.
there was no nipples and no penises.
No,
and
but
vaginas.
there was wet slapping noises.
There was wet. There was wet slapping.
As I said,
noises.
I was watching it with my 4-year-old nephew, and it very quickly got very uncomfortable for me.
What you could say to that is you could have checked the age rating first.
I could have done, and I should have done, because everyone should take responsibility for their own actions. I am a libertarian.
That is fair. That is fair. I mean, at the end of the day, whose responsibility is it? Is it the parents' responsibility? Is it the producers of the show's responsibility, or is it the child's responsibility?
Well, it's certainly not the child's,
I
because
would think
a 4-year-old
not the
is an
child's.
idiot.
So, I mean, Jessica Jones did have an age rating on it, and you
I
did
never
watch
saw
it.
anything. I just
And you did watch it with a 4-year-old. Did you look for it though?
You shouldn't have to look for it. It should say
It should be in your
It should
face.
say this has adult content. Because I literally, Jessica Jones, Marvel, assumed it's superheroes. That's for people who are sort of have arrested development issues. So I thought it's got to be mainly for kids.
You really don't like superheroes, do you?
No,
I think we
particularly
need to
not.
I think we need to verge off a little bit and delve
think
into
they're silly.
why you don't like superheroes.
I just think they're silly. They're for kids, which is fine. And then, but now you've got full-grown adults loving them still.
Have you ever watched Watchmen?
No.
I would give that a look if I were you. It's a different take on superheroes that you might appreciate.
Isn't that movie about 3 hours long?
It is
Yeah.
about 3 hours long.
That is at least an hour too long for a film in my book. In my book, a movie should be an hour and a half long, and it should have Arnold Schwarzenegger killing many people of ethnic countries. That is
but
perfect
what you're
country.
saying is you want it to be the 80s.
Yes.
Alright.
Yes.
Fair enough.
And you know where you were in the 80s. There was no sort of subtlety. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger. His daughter was kidnapped.
That's true.
He was going out.
All the bad guys were foreign because
Always.
you can't have bad guys in the same country as you.
You cannot trust foreign people. If
No,
Donald
apparently
Trump
not.
has taught us anything, you cannot trust foreign people.
This podcast does not in any way endorse Donald Trump or any of his affiliates,
No, I will not vote for Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton.
or in fact anyone who's going up against him. Vote Jake.
Maybe Gary Johnson at a push.
Who's Gary Johnson?
He's a libertarian candidate. I think I've got his name right. I might not have done. But
Gary
even he's a
Johnson.
bit of an idiot.
I mean, if a person has the last name Johnson, you should vote for him based purely on that. Surely.
The euphemism of his name.
Yeah, just for fun. So at least for
President
4 or 5
Johnson
years,
does have a ring to it.
yeah, you get to say Johnson
we've
a
had
lot.
Lyndon Johnson before, haven't we?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't follow American politics until
do.
now, and now everyone has to. Otherwise, they'll have their hands cut off.
No, I've watched every single American election coverage since 2000 when George W. Bush did the entire world a service by making sure we didn't have that boring Al Gore as president.
Now, that is dark.
Al
And
Gore,
not you saying Al Gore is
boring
is
man.
boring. The fact that you've
You
spent
might-
that much time in looking at American politics.
I know, 2000, now I've only been 14. That is quite sad in its own way.
That's quite grim.
Al Gore is a very boring
I'm starting
man.
to see where your worldview comes from.
To be fair, I would have voted for Al Gore in that election.
You would you got
because
very back and forth on this.
The alternative was George W. Bush.
Well, yeah, that is fair. But there you go. So, Ben,
We were talking
how
about
you
Final
feel?
Fantasy.
You look like you're slowly dying,
I don't want to weigh in.
like falling apart inside. He's got too dark.
I
and
do
too
worry now
horrible.
that one day I might actually run for public office, and this podcast might get used against me. When I run for the Lib Dems,
That might be for the best, though.
the Lib Dems will take anyone they can get at this point. I mean, I don't think I can run for any other party because I was a card-carrying member of the Lib Dems at one point.
I'm not sure with your population control
Why is
theories.
why are
The
no
Lib Dems would be the perfect party for you.
why are no politicians coming out and saying this though?
That we should kill everybody.
Not that we should kill everyone, but there are too many people. Let's just maybe rein in the sex in.
I think in China they are.
No, they've stopped that now.
Have they
actually.
stopped that
They've just
now?
recently
I
stopped
thought
that.
they had a general rule where
Yeah, they had one child
you can
per
only
couple.
have. Yeah, but that wasn't it wasn't like you can't have 2 children.
Well, what the rule actually was is
It's like you can't have benefits for any more children after
that,
one.
that was the rule. I don't understand why more countries, especially, I mean, Britain is a very tiny country, and we've got 65 million people, and we've got people pumping out multiple children. It's unnecessary.
I think 2.
A repl-
I mean, the point is to replenish your race.
Yeah.
It would make sense for a couple to have 2 kids. Also, more
the problem
important
with
than
that
this,
though is what happens.
and
when a
I'd
couple
like to
splits
I'd like
up.
to shine a little bit of light into your dark corner.
No.
I think more people should adopt rather than. I think people should consider adoption over.
I do completely
having their
agree
own
with
children
that.
more
People-
often.
If I'm probably never going to have children, as listeners of this podcast may have gleaned, but if I was to ever have one, it would be an adoption.
Of course, because there are so many kids without parents out there that need parents, and
And I'd be an amazing parent, as I'm sure most people are aware.
oh, of course, yeah, I would love to be your son or daughter. Maybe daughter.
You'd be a strange-looking daughter.
I'd be a sexy daughter.
No,
No.
it's gone dark and
Let's not
entirely
go
different.
there. I
different way.
wasn't supposed to bring this into the darkness. You
Yeah.
were. I don't know what happened there. I will not be a sexy daughter. Don't worry, people, listeners. Anyway.
Stupid, sexy daughter.
But that's it for now. Benny's going to do a jingle, and then I'm going to stop recording and cry in a dark hole while Jake rubs my belly.
I'm not
Ben?
going to do that either.
Would you like to do your jingle?
Okay, here we go. So, here we go. Thank you for listening to Jake Goes Dark. We hope it made you bark. And now let's go on Noah's Ark. Don't forget, the animals came in 2 by 2. And now I need to go for a poo.